It's happening, friends. Customers are already buying for the holiday season, and businesses are already preparing to rock their sales this year. Yes, even in the summer. This means you need to plan and prep for the holiday season now. That's why we are excited to bring you our totally free 5-day Rock Your Holiday Promotions Challenge. It's a free 5-day training where we will teach you how to plan and prep for the holiday sales so that you're prepared to skyrocket your sales for this holiday season.
Thousands of product businesses took it last year and loved it. We had so many of you say you've never been so prepared in the history of your businesses for Black Friday and the Cyber 5. It was epic. So join us this year. It starts August 10th. Go to www.rockyourholidaypromotions.com and sign up now for free. Welcome to the Product Boss Podcast, where we help product-based businesses grow their sales and improve their strategies.
Hey everyone, I want to introduce you to my co-host and biz bestie, Minna Kunlo-Sitep, an Amazon guru that has built a multi-six-figure product-based business.
And introducing the other half of the Product Boss, Jacqueline Snyder. She has helped launch and grow over 500 fashion apparel and accessory brands, even one of her own.
And together, we share our inventory of secret weapons that will help you dig deep and do the work it takes.
Are you ready? Let's build together.
Hey everybody, Jacqueline and Minna here, your co-hosts of the Product Boss Podcast. Today, we will be sharing a conversation we had with a fellow female founder. You see, we believe women helping women is what the world needs more of. Introducing our female founder episodes, where we interview fellow female entrepreneurs and highlight their small business.
Our goal is to shine a spotlight on product businesses to encourage our community to support each other, learn from each other, buy from each other, and lift each other up. So let's jump in.
All right, Alicia Chester of Our Southern Gentlemen, welcome to the Female Founders, the Product Boss Podcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
We are so excited to have you. You have been such a valuable member in our community. You've been with us forever. You are in Multi-Stream Machine and Survival Kit Course Bundle and our workshops. We know your business and we've been able to watch the growth of it. So we're really excited today to talk about how you found a need in the market, you met that need, and how it's really actually sparked the growth of your business. So welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
I also want to mention Alicia is definitely a connector in our community. She basically knows everybody and everybody knows her. So I'm super excited to have you in here with us.
That's sweet. Thank you.
So tell our listeners what you sell, what you make, what you sell.
Well, it started with bow ties, but I guess the connector that we're talking about today are the masks that I made. So here's one right here, actually. The kids' masks. They actually even have like the metal to keep them around their little noses. But I started with bow ties because I have two little boys of my own. They are 5 and 3, and I have always liked men's fashion and all of that. But as soon as I found out I was having boys, I was like, oh God, what am I doing? I immediately got nervous and I was like, I don't do boy stuff. I don't do sports. I don't do like all that kind of stuff. But very quickly I realized, but what I do love is men's fashion. So I got very quick onto making them bow ties and dressing them up. And as my sister says, like they have a style, they have an aesthetic. And so once I really started making them a lot and people started seeing them, I started getting questions about them. And then my sister had a boy as well, same age as my oldest son. So I was making ties for her and people started asking her about them and it kind of took off from there.
So you make little boy bow ties, and are they clip-ons?
No, they're actually interchangeable. So I realized I was making them so often because I wanted to change their looks out and that kind of thing. And it was just taking forever because I'd have to make the neckband again and attach them and all of that. So I ended up making just one neckband and then putting them on a button. So it makes it easy for me to just swap them out and not have to worry about like strings hanging out in the drawer and getting tangled. I just pop them right on and switch them out. Or if we go for a photo shoot, or if I'm doing a photo shoot with them, it makes it easy for me to change their outfits quickly. But so what started off as a need for me, I started seeing that my customers liked the idea of having that option. So I started selling them that way.
Amazing.
You're such a gifted seamstress. I mean, looking at
Thank
that
you.
button, that seems complicated, but you made it so simple. Do you have a background in sewing?
Background, no, but yes, my grandmother was a seamstress. And so growing up, if we went to her house and I didn't know where she was, I knew she was in the basement sewing. So she made a career out of that. And when I would go down there to pester her, she would throw fabric and a needle and thread at me and be like, just go play. And so I would play with all her scraps. And it just became this thing where I had interest in it, but I didn't really do anything with it. My husband loves to find deals and stuff. And so one time during like Black Friday, he saw a sewing machine and just purchased it and thought she could mend with it. He had no idea I knew how to sew. And that just sparked something in me, a reminder of, my past being a kid, and I just started sewing everything. So not formally trained, but the best training is, trial and error, right?
Yes,
and calling my
absolutely.
grandmother, like, please help me. And her saying, you'll figure it out, babe, just do it. So yeah.
Amazing. So I've watched your journey in terms of even the photos that you've up-leveled your photos. You've got 2 adorable sons. So they have been excellent models for you. So before COVID-19 and transitioning into the masks, what were you doing? How were you selling? What did your business look like?
It was a lot more hobbyish. I would kind of like, if I felt like it, I would come down here and sew. I was not consistent on my Instagram, things like that. And I was starting to get there before COVID. And I was really excited about all the markets that would be coming up and all the ones I was going to try to join and kind of test out some different things. And it came to a screeching halt. And I didn't know, I was kind of ready to just kind of hang it up for a while. Cause I had that tendency, since it was more crafty. It was kind of like, oh, I'm tired, or I don't feel like it, or I'm too busy. And I would just leave it alone for a while. And then people would start asking, and then I'd post a few things. So once COVID happened, I was down here all the time and making the mask and all of that. And I thought, well, based off of everything I had seen on multi-stream and that kind of thing, I started to build momentum, and I didn't want to lose that because of a shift. So I just kept posting about bow ties, even though really I was in here making masks. And then finally people started asking more about masks because they would see me making them in stories. And so I would be like, yeah, just send me a DM and I'd make them. But then I thought, no, these need to be on my page. So I started posting them more, aligned with bow ties and in my stories and in my Instagram and things like that.
I mean, I love that. I love that we were in your ear with multi-stream machine while you're sewing the masks. And
y'all are always in my ear.
And if you guys go and look at her Instagram, it's Shop Our Southern Gentleman on Instagram. Her aesthetic is very clear and very clean and beautiful. It's very charming, very clean lines. I mean, even the masks are they just look so beautiful how everything goes together. So even though Alicia added masks, they really go with the aesthetic, right? Mm-hmm. Because as our kids are getting bow ties on, and you're doing a little bit of bows for little girls now, but they'll need masks as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know with my boys, like if they feel confident and they like how they look, they're more likely to stay put together, right? So even with the bow ties or the mask, like I let them come and choose which fabric they wanted their mask out of, and then they want to have them on and they look for them. They've been nowhere but my vehicle to Chick-fil-A and back, but in the post office. But they get so excited, and my son's always like, "Where's my mask? Where's my mask?" So we have several in the car and in the house. He will walk around the house in bow ties. He loves being dressed up.
That's like myself and my daughter. Like we would walk around the house in evening gowns if we could.
Yeah. I mean, and it's fun, and he thinks it's fun, and it gives him a way to like be different characters and that kind of thing. So today he was a villain. Yesterday he was a police officer. Tomorrow he'll be something else. So, but he uses his tie every time. So
I think what we wanted to say is that, it's sort of this accidental thing where you added the masks, you had the fabric. And I think there was a call at the very beginning once they finally transitioned and said people need to wear masks.
Right.
Even on Etsy, there was like a call out that all makers, can you make masks?
Yeah.
So you started making them. You had fabric, you have kids, you made them. And then the customer was basically like we want these. And then you saw that. And now we're in this new world where for the foreseeable future, masks are going to be required mostly, and kids are supposed to go back to school. So all the things that happened and the thing that's kind of led to the growth of your business is that customers came in for this need. They needed masks and they needed kids masks. And then you're selling bows. And not only are you selling bows, you've expanded into bows for girls and you've got wholesale orders.
I do. I have my first wholesale order today. So a local store here in Georgia will be carrying my hair bows. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I've got the larger hair bows that are these big ones here, and then little pigtail bows as well. So,
and how did you land that store?
I had actually reached out to her about bow ties, and she has more of a female-based customer. And so she was like, I really love your stuff. She has a son herself. And so she's like, I love it, but I just don't think it'll sell super well here because moms come in and they buy for themselves and they buy for their daughter. So, and she has a very small section for children. So she was like, I just don't want to use that. And then it doesn't sell. So when she saw me start to post about the hair bows, she came back and said, let's do hair bows. So she's really excited. I'm really excited. And I hope it does really well.
Yeah. I love that you just didn't do mass for the sake of mass. You kept it in your aesthetic. It was really on brand and you really made it a stylish fashion accessory, which is what your brand is, right? You have the bow ties, the bows, and now you have the mask and it all still goes together. It wasn't like it's something that has that longevity in your brand that really, really works instead of just adding the mask because they happen to be selling right now.
Right. I mean, our tagline is be, act, and dress like a gentleman. So there's so much that comes with that. Being a gentleman in behavior extends to protecting yourself and others while wearing a mask. Right. So I think it fully embodies what I expect my children to be. I love getting people coming back to me saying, oh, your boys are so sweet, or they were so nice. They did this or that. They're such gentlemen. We will walk down the street. They can be in regular clothes and people will say, they're such gentlemen. That is like the highest of compliment. So I really want my brand to reflect that is truly what I deep down inside expect of my children. And I hope that, I can help you to do that for your children by way of the products that we sell, the t-shirts, the bow ties, the mask.
Yes. And I love how with the accessories, you really show that it can come with an accessory, right? The confidence, right? Wearing a bow tie around, wearing a mask around, showing how you're carrying, and really just, it feeds more to an emotional solution rather than a practical solution even, right? The problem is they need to wear masks. The solution is they can still be stylish and build confidence and show that they care about other people. And there can be, all these other things attached to that. So fantastic job with all of that.
Thank you.
So what I just wanted everyone to realize too is that you didn't jump into, I'm going to make masks for adults. And it had nothing to do with your customer, right? Like you met that need. And then the need was parents. And they had the aesthetic, they were attracted to your aesthetic. And so the masks made sense because it was that need. And then they looked and they said, wow, these are adorable t-shirts. These are really cute bow ties. If they're like me and they have a son and a daughter, if we're into that look, we're into that look. I mean, my daughter would rather have a Jojo Siwa bow, which drives me.
The bigger, the better, right?
It's like how much glitter and gigantic horribleness. But if I could put her in your bows when she was still younger. Yes. But like you stayed with that customer, and that's what we talked to a lot of our students. You're a student, you've been in our, our Facebook lives and stuff. There were students that were like, I want to do this. It was like a cash injection or meeting a need. And it was okay. Because when COVID happened and everything shut down and things were canceled, we needed you guys just to survive. So people made masks because they could, and they survived, and that kind of helped them. Absolutely. Now for you, it's something longevity wise, people are spending again in different ways. So other people can just kind of go back to what they were making. But for you, this is something that really is kind of like another product line for you for the foreseeable future. If not, I don't know. I can't see the future.
Lord, I wish you could.
I mean, I hope one day you get to discontinue masks, but until then,
you're right about that. I will make them for as long as we need them. But yeah, my wish, my dream, my prayer is that we will be done with this and it'll just be a faint memory. But until then, I'm here for you.
Right. I honestly highly doubt it will change within the next year,
I agree.
So until then, we will see what happens. 2020, we don't know what's going to happen, right? But what does, now that we know what your business looked like before, what does your business look like now? How is it going? Is it, that
busy.
hobby?
It's becoming less and less of a hobby every day. I am realizing very quickly that I'm having to put some systems in place, which, if you know my personality, I don't really do well with structure and things like that, but I'm having to find a way to implement some. And so I just recently started my Shopify page, which I think I broke, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to get it fixed. So I'm kind of migrating some of my stuff over to Shopify and less away from Etsy. I'll keep it open, but I want to focus on the Shopify page. And now that we have Instagram, shop page and all of that. So I do get a lot of traffic from Instagram and Facebook and things like that. So I was trying to make sure that all of that would be seamless for the customer. So working on that. And then as far as like the product line, I mean, in the winter, I do scarves. So it's inching ever closer to fall. So scarves will be coming around. And I have another idea for a different type of bow tie that will be more wintry fall. So yeah, I think it's one of those things where I'm having to move with it. And I don't want it to outrun me. So I'm trying to get caught up so that I can really have a good base to go from here.
Do you see yourself as the business is growing into not really a hobby, but a business? Do you want it to grow into a business?
I do want it to go to a business, but I also want it to be like still pretty simple. I think with some of the things I have in mind for fall, I do have a friend that I could, tap on to help me with some of that. But it's been a family affair. Like my sister is my graphic designer, patented designs. And so I spout out stuff to her and she helps me to create what I can't create myself sometimes.
Oh, it's so good to have somebody who has a graphic design background on your team.
Do I know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's very helpful. So she gets random calls and tech questions, but she's been so helpful. So she's always like, whatever you need, we'll work together and we can find a way. So even if it turns into, I'm still doing the sewing, but she's cutting or something like that, like I definitely want to be able to grow.
We need to scale your handmade business now.
We do.
Exactly.
And I think the reason why it is ideal to have a graphic designer, it's not because of design. I think that with you, especially, it's especially helpful because graphic designers have a way of putting design with functionality. Yeah. And I think that has a lot to do with what you do, the functionality behind the design. And if you end up not making scarves, it's fine as well.
Yeah.
So
they did really well last year. So I think they'll do really good.
Just scroll through your Instagram and see what they look like.
Yeah.
You go back in time. It's like a pre-purchase. So, I mean, this is incredible. You've done amazing. We appreciate having you in the community and kind of watching you grow and the things that you've learned along the way and how you pivoted and just kind of very gracefully, but also
definitely due to you guys for sure. I mean, I have been listening to every podcast and I would get little ideas here and there, but I literally went straight to iTunes one day because I was just like, I felt like I kept hitting the ceiling with all the other podcasts. And so I did a quick search, product-based business, and you guys popped up and I have abandoned all of those podcasts now.
Thank goodness.
Because it just wasn't getting me that one step closer. And, my sister and I would always, kind of pass them back and forth. But with her doing graphic design, she is service-based. So a lot of their tips did help her, but mine, it just kind of would stop at a certain point. So once I found you guys and I started very slowly implementing you guys' tips, I started to see change. So now that I'm really starting to make a move, I'm like, okay, I need to dig deep and really start to do all the things that you guys have listed.
Well, thank you. And just excited to see you grow because bow ties wasn't an easy choice that you went into.
No. It was
because it wasn't something that was super easy, but there is a need, there's a market out there. And then as you're kind of tacking it onto these, and then the things that you'll see that do take off and the need for them. So
I love it. One of those things, like some prints do really, really well. So there's one that people are waiting for right now. And I could not find the fabric again. It finally came back in stock. So those will be coming soon. So I'm excited to see how those do again. So
So good. Well, tell our listeners how they can follow you, how they can buy from you, and how they can share you.
I'm on Etsy as Our Southern Gentleman. I am on Shopify at OurSouthernGentleman.com. Just hold on until I get that fixed. And then on Instagram, shop Our Southern Gentleman. So those are the places I hang out the most. I'm on Facebook, but I'm on Instagram more.
Yeah. Okay. Well, everyone say hello to her over on Instagram and follow and buy these adorable masks because back to school is quickly approaching.
It's around the corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thanks so much, Alicia.
Thank you.
Before you go, 2020 has been, 2020. And we want you to be as prepared for the holiday season because it's the busiest and most profitable time of the year for product-based businesses. Did you know consumers spend billions of dollars from November to December? Are you ready to boost your sales for the holiday season? As product experts, our best advice is preparation is key for holiday profits. And of course, absolutely get help where you can. That's why we want to help you build your promotions set to sell so you can enjoy your pumpkin pie as your holiday sales roll in.
We have an extra special 5-day live training coming to you August 10th. Rock your holiday promotions. Videos get delivered straight to your inbox and it's absolutely free. And it starts August 10th. So go to www.rockyourholidaypromotions.com and sign up now for free.